I thought.
And airborne for the American.
Okay, so quite interesting stuff right now. I'm guessing the American might go for the airborne because of strafing runs. I mean, if there's going to be so many snipers on the field, one of the worst things, one of the, actually the best things against killing snipers, maybe a bit abusive, is using strafing runs against them. But I'm not too sure. There's no snipers on the field right now. But the Wehrmacht have gone for Blitzkrieg, as I've said, and they've got the stormtroopers on the field. And they've actually upgraded them with the MP44s, so these are going to do a lot of damage to infantry. Very killer. And see, that's the thing. That's the beauty about the Lorraine. Since you've got hardly any fuel, you're not going to expect tanks so fast. So what they're actually focusing a lot is anti-infantry. As you guys can see, there's really not that much in terms of anti-tank on the field right now.
Yeah, and I think from the British player, it looks like we've got supercharged rounds, because that mortar is reaching an awful long way to get out to that bunker.
Mortars definitely have a very big range, but I would say that was outside of its range, its normal range anyway.
Well, that means he's Royal Artillery, so he has that added bonus.
And artillery could be so devastating. I mean, if it lands on infantry, oh jeez.
Well, and you know, and of course in team games like this, it's not uncommon to see a player who chooses more artillery based in their play, just because of the way that these games tend to kind of stalemate at particular points, and the artillery helps break that down.
Artillery is definitely a very good way at doing a stalemate. I've actually had a very bad experience once with artillery. The longest game I've ever played in Company Heroes, and I'm sure all of you guys have your own personal records, but personally my own record, longest game ever, was 3 hours, and that was on a 4v4 in Montere's region. That was absolutely crazy. It was years ago now, but it's just artillery absolutely everywhere. So that seemed like it was causing the stalemate. But then again, when it comes to expert games like this, definitely artillery is great at breaking down defenses.
Ooh, we had a stormtrooper go down on the retreat from this mass of British infantry. The stormtroopers just tripping over them as they were trying to retreat through them.
Yeah, it's absolutely unfortunate. That's actually one of the really bad things. Like when you talk about pathing, like retreating, if they ever come across a whole big blob of guys, so like all these British, and they get sort of caught in between, then they just stop, and that's quite unfortunate.
He says he have sector.
Teamwork.
Indeed. You know, of course, we've got all tier buildings from the Panzer Elite. I would expect he's upgrading Shreks. I would actually kind of like to see a mortar half-track at this point to help kind of discourage the infantry play by the British player.
So yeah, I suppose that would be actually really good. Now tell me, Ryan, is the incendiary rounds on mortar half-tracks, are they really good at emplacements, against emplacements?
Actually, no. They will do some damage, but for the most part, you're going to use that against infantry. You're better off mortar bombarding on standard emplacement.
Okay.
Map hack. And they're not losing yet. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Very strange things.
I thought we said we weren't going to talk about that.
Yeah. Tank depot now. BaifikCZ.
And we have a stew on the field.
You don't really usually see the stews. That's quite a rare choice. The stew is very good at anti-infantry, so I respect that choice and all out, all the way. Especially when you're blobbing up masses of infantry, like you know the Brits are doing right now. All those masses of men, a big artillery round right in the middle could be just the last thing that they need.
Yeah, you've got airborne trying to flank the stew currently while it's still firing on the infantry section there. One of the things with the stew is it's actually more accurate if you attack ground with it as opposed to attacking individual infantry units.
And is that so?
That's from any of the things that I've read about it and messed with, it seems to be.
That would be really micro-intensive, I could imagine, just having to attack ground. You'd probably have to use hotkeys for that. Now, when we were talking about the airborne selection, I suppose you could have gone with those strafing runs. One of the brilliant things about Lorraine is just all that ammunition, so the airborne are actually a really good choice. The paratroopers, when you have all this ammunition, definitely you could easily afford all those recoilless rifles, no problem. And as soon as armor comes out on the field, you have no problem.
He just got strafe, so and he has 184 ammunition. We might see one.
So I would say the general plan, like, what would you guys say is the general motive of these guys right now? Like, what do you think they have any goals in their minds?
I think from the Axis side, you're really seeing a lot of infantry play. You're seeing some very minor anti-tank efforts. You know, you're getting you have Pioneers recapturing a mortar here. It's very infantry based, and you just had a Muni half-track out, which is more there to recharge incendiary grenades and lay mines down, where you typically wouldn't see those kinds of choices. It's not like the Wehrmacht player is really chosen to use a lot of munition.
I suppose so. I would say for the Brits, definitely what they're trying to do is mass up their men and use lieutenants and possibly captains. I'm not sure if they have a captain right now, but just giving those bonuses to all their men and just try to make the most out of it right now. I think what they're just mostly trying to do is, most of their emphasis is on the center, and they've got a little bit of capping going on the sides, but mostly they're trying to conquer from the center, I would say.
Greatness, would you typically run? Would you typically run to the center in Lorraine?
I guess it would depend on my starting position and where my teammate is. Not normally, no, because you want that fuel.
Now that's actually one of the weird things about Lorraine, like, because you've got three ways to go on the map, really, either north, middle, or south. So it's kind of tricky to actually decide which way are you going to go. Now, as I said, like, most of the funneling of the aggression happens in the center. Obviously, a lot of key points in there. So if we look at the tactical map, there's a lot of you have a lot of munitions points, a lot of your fuel. So obviously, it's something that you want to take a note of. Very key strategic points as well. I mean, this house in the center usually sees like a lot of MGs and a lot of tension over there. But when it comes to actually dividing who is going to do what, it's usually, I would say, quite split. Usually one person goes for one side and the other supports in the center, really.
Yeah, and if you notice up on the north side, we see that munitions half-track just backing up Panzer Grenadiers. He's been throwing a lot of incendiary grenades, which has helped with some of the infantry, pushes from the American player, particularly up there on the north side. We got a lot of manpower floating and quite a bit of fuel too.
I would actually say this is where the action is about to start. I mean, we finally got some tanks on the field, so we've got a Sherman. Now, just the fact that you don't have so much fuel on Lorraine, now that you have a Sherman out, this could actually mean something.
And there's nothing to stop it.
And pretty much, I mean, the Axis really this entire time have just been pretty much anti-infantry, and so now that you have this Sherman out, bam! It's going to be a very big hassle for them.
He just shot his own mine.
No, that was a mine that the munitions half-track put down in trying to get away from the Sherman.
in
Right,
desperation. But it certainly doesn't look like it's going to be getting away. Just one more shot should probably do it.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw Panthers come out, just due to the fact that we have the Shrek upgrades, but no Shreks on the field. He's just getting the Panzer command up, and so I wouldn't doubt that. Or I'm sorry, the support command, not the Panzer command, and so I'm guessing we're gonna see Panthers out on the field from the PE player pretty shortly here.
And that could be pretty good. I mean, especially on this map particularly, since all you need is just 1,000 manpower to get out those guys, to get out those Panthers. So it'd be very useful. Now, the British are taking very opportunity from their artillery just to smack the Wehrmacht right in the face at his base, taking out one Nuremberg. That is quite unfortunate.
Yeah, and that was actually a creeping barrage, so that confirms our suspicion of the Royal Artillery.
That's definitely it. So we got that 25-pound howitzer right at the back of the map, quite safe with all these MGs supporting it. So no fear, this howitzer is going to be safe pretty much.
Panthers. They're gonna go for a north push, I think.
And it looks like
I think they're running for where the Sherman's at. They have to watch for the mines on the road, though, for sure.
And I think the Panthers are actually being quite smart, so they're not going on default road, they're actually going off-road right through the fences and basically making their own trail. Just chasing.
He's got stickies, so.
But they're only focusing on one Panther. I suppose fair enough. Maybe it would have been wiser to split it between the two. But I suppose it doesn't really matter. The Sherman got away.
And we have a Goliath out from the Wehrmacht player. Trying to find a crater
That's
somewhere.
weird. That's usually
Be good
not
for
seen
that
in
bridge blob. You get a cloak?
Indeed it will. So 125 ammunition, you got your Goliaths right there. Big blast. I'm pretty sure it's bigger than an artillery one. Or maybe as big. But it takes out certainly a lot of guys if they fall upon one. So that could actually be the perfect counter to all this these infantry, all these massed up Brits, for example, in the south right now.
Oh, it didn't do anything. Did you see that Goliath? Killed one guy.
That's quite unfortunate. Had all
Yeah,
that
it's very
potential.
sad when you...
If only he left it cloaked, he could have done something.
Why was he moving it?
And
Yeah.
and that's something to note too. Is in the beta patch, Goliaths are going to be able to be revealed. I think on the same basis that Commando demo charges are. So you still have to get pretty close to them, but they can be revealed. As opposed to now, you can walk right on them, and there isn't any indication that they're there.
All right. Has the beta actually addressed any of the prices of the Goliath? Is it still 125?
Yes, yes it is.
Is it 125 or 150? I'm thinking about it right now.
I'm fairly certain it's 125.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh look, there's a couple roos in the base. I think he's planning something.
Oh, a couple kangaroos. So we could definitely see some mobile fortresses, that's for sure.
Yeah.
I think this puts the Axis in a actually really bad spot. I mean, if there's gonna be kangaroos on the field and they have hardly any anti-tank,